Welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel. My name is Enrique. Thank you so much for watching. Today's video is going to be a fun one. We're going to interview the team from Omniverse. You guys may recognize some of the faces, names, or voices because they used to be part of High Point from back in early 2022. If you don't remember High Point, this was a highly hyped project. They had a huge community, a ton of buzz, and things fizzled out. So most of the questions that you guys have for me were in regards to what they learned about High Point. So we're definitely going to cover that. And I also want to learn more about this protocol. It's actually very, very unique, different. They have this time lock feature. They have this whitelist feature. Every time that the token is used, they have a mechanism built inside of it that's going to burn. I believe it's 2%. And there's just a lot to uncover here. So I am really looking forward to today's interview. Let's talk to the guys from Omniverse. All right, everyone, welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel. We have the Omniverse team here. All four guys are joining me today. Cam, Sam, Joey, and Kevin. Guys, thanks so much for joining the channel.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us here. Yep.
Yeah, really excited to have you guys on. I have about 9 or 10 questions that some of the viewers sent us. Some of the questions had to do with your previous project, so we'll definitely be covering that. And there was just a lot of questions about this project. You guys have a very unique protocol. It's very different. I think I understand it, but I'm not even quite 1,000% sure. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that. And guys, before we get going, Kev, if you don't mind starting the introductions real quick.
Sure. I'm Kevin. I'm the marketing director. I'm one of the founders, so we'll keep it nice and brief. Joey?
I'm Joey. I'm the project manager. I handle tokenomics and critical thinking. Sam?
I'm Sam. I'm one of the founders. I handle operations. I help with managing the Discord. And yeah, I'm Sam.
I'm Cam. I manage the website. I'm Kevin's personal HR assistant. And I just make sure these guys don't say anything wrong, pretty much. Yeah.
If I can jump in quickly, Cam is Doxxed, by the way. A lot of people know him, Cam Fulton. You can go check him out on Discord. Everyone in Obsidian, Cardinal House, DeFi Hub knows him. So it's just his camera isn't working.
My camera is broke. Yes.
All right. And you kind of hit on it for a sec. So you were KYC'd by Obsidian Council, correct?
Yeah, we had a big falling out with them just because of like differences with the previous protocol that you're going to bring up, and it's like because we ended it, the KYC is no longer valid, but you know, we did do our KYC, our audit of multisig and the public docs that they see now.
Got it. All right, well, I thought it'd probably be a good idea to start with the actual details about Omniverse. What makes you guys different? It seems like you have a lot of different pieces and parts to it. And it's just very unique. I was trying to think of a token or project to compare you guys to. I couldn't really do that. So I didn't know if maybe Access, you want to start out by telling us a little bit about Omniverse?
So Omniverse is a whole ecosystem, but the main focus we're going to be really revolving the project around upon launch is the whitelist marketplace. And in short, what the whitelist marketplace is it's a place where investors can go to diversify their portfolios and projects can go to get noticed. You know, it's got the best of both worlds for project owners and investors, and it really gets the word out there for other projects.
Okay. And why would a project want to use you guys for this?
So we have a growth package, and Cam can actually elaborate on this one because he's very he's typed a few times about it in the founders chat.
Yeah, so the growth package, basically what we're going to do is offer marketing to projects that come in and whitelist, and we're still working out the details, but for the most part, they'll get a page on our site, they'll get a blog article, an AMA that's summarized and transcribed, so they'll get a backlink to their website. We'll do social media posts, display ads probably, depending on the project.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing.
Yeah.
We actually, so when a spot is purchased, the tokens get burnt, the Omni tokens. And so let's say a protocol listed on our website generates $1,000 in burns. $250. So 25% of that would be given to the team for developmental costs or whatever they want to use it for.
So 750 would be burned.
Got it. Okay. So it's kind of like a win-win for both projects then. Basically, everyone wins.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So I guess that may cover one of the questions. One of the questions I had was, and it was just a DM, and it was Omni Growth Package question. So I'm guessing Omni Growth Package is the growth package you just referenced. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that crosses one of them out. Okay, very cool. All right. And what chain did you guys decide on?
Binance.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Seems like Binance has all the liquidity these days.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming. All right, so you guys have you kind of brought up the whitelist marketplace, but so you have the whitelist marketplace and you have this time lock. A lot of the questions I had were around whether or not you have to be a part of both, one, neither. Can you just hold a token? Can you guys kind of just walk us through what all that looks like for someone that's not at all familiar with Omniverse?
Yeah, sure. So Omni should be considered a currency. That's the key part, right? And so you have a token and it's road A or road B, but you can diversify into both. So road A is you participate in this whitelist marketplace with all these protocols that you see that are partnered with us, right? This Omni growth package that we're offering these teams that were supposed to get rid of their whitelist anyways. We are doing it for them, plus paying them for it in Omni tokens, right? We do the marketing for them. And in turn, that helps the protocol because those tokens get burnt. We are deflationary. The token supply does not keep going up. Now, because all those tokens get burned, there will be a point in time where the Omni token, there's not enough of it, right? The scarcity is so high. So what we have is the time vault. And this is kind of the Bitcoin miner theory where instead of the developer team, like we touched on this in week before, but if we had to mint tokens, everybody would freak out, right? People would assume, what are these guys doing with those tokens? So what the time vault does is it makes users lock up their Omni tokens to create supply. But the two are not going to be released at the same time just because we want to be able to afford the time vault, right? These percentages that we allow people to lock into, we're not going to be giving it out like a rebase protocol, right? Because a rebase protocol starts at, let's say, 100,000 APY, but they can't support it because they don't have any liquidity to start with. We want to be able to release the time vault when supply is super low to make investors want to lock up and stake their Omni tokens to earn and create more supply. And two, we want to be able to afford it when we finally release the time vault.
Okay. So just to confirm, make sure I heard that right. If someone wants to just hold Omni, not deal with the time lock, not deal with the whitelist, just be able to benefit from the fact that you have this deflationary mechanism built into it, that's okay.
Yep, they can hold it, and with our mechanism, the price should appreciate over time.
It should, right? Because of the fact that you're burning 2% every time it's used, right?
Yep, every time it's purchased and sold, it burns 2%. That's built into the token transaction. The whitelist marketplace is also burning tokens, so there's a few factors in the ecosystem that cause burns. Okay.
And I noticed that there's kind of like an asterisk on whether or not you guys can mint more coins or not, right? Explain that to me, because that part kind of threw me off.
So again, we don't really want to mint the supply. We want our investors to be able to do it. So the time vault will not be released at the same time, right? Because on one hand, we have this crazy burning mechanism, which is the whitelist marketplace. And then the other hand, we have the time vault, which creates supply, right? Mm-hmm. So because they're not going to be released at the same time, we want to be able to afford to pay out without giving people fake tokens, right? Mm-hmm. We want it to be backed by actual liquidity. And then secondly, they will have to mint the supply themselves when the supply is very low. So the time vault won't come out until we feel as though the supply is too low and each token is too expensive.
If I can add, if the question is, can we mint? Yes, we can. But it was the same with High Point. We did, right? Yeah. It was.
The mint function exists, right?
It exists,
but I thought I read that. Okay.
We're probably going to choose not to use it, right? I mean,
okay.
We want to use our time vault to offset instead of minting more tokens, because minting more tokens is going to cause the price to go down, which is not what we want, right?
Right. Because I feel like a big part of what makes your token so impressive is the fact that it does have such a high deflationary mechanism built into it. So if you can just mint tokens at any time, that kind of takes that away and balances it out. So That's why I wanted to reconfirm that just to make sure I understood that. So yeah, that's very, very cool. So back to the time lock, guys. What are the options there? Like, what is the minimum? What is the maximum?
There's no minimum, but there are 6 main positions. So the percentages align with the time duration that you locked up with, right? The longer you lock up, the higher the return rate that you will get. So it ranges from 1 month to 2 years, 2 years being a 200% return on your deposit, with 1 month being a 5% return on your deposit, right? So you choose how long you want to lock up. And because this feature will come later on to protect people who have decided to enter into the time vault, there is a 50% early exit fee, meaning you cannot bail out if the others are also in it, right? It's to protect every single person, is to incentivize that people finish their time lock durations.
Does the tax also apply to gains?
Yeah, it does. But you have to finish your time duration. Then there's no tax applied to you.
Yeah, this 50% fee is on your initial deposit and anything you've accumulated.
And what you accumulated. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that tax gets burnt.
Okay. Interesting. All right, guys. So just to play devil's advocate a little bit, I mean, 2 years, guys, that's in crypto freaking a month. That's an ice age in 2. That's a very, very long time. Like, I mean, that is quite the commitment. 2 years. You guys really think that you're going to get some volume on that?
Well, in my opinion, at first, I don't think so. I think once we can, like over time, if we prove to be one of the longer lasting protocols, then people will start to feel comfortable locking up. But I don't think within the first couple months of launch, people will feel comfortable locking for 2 years. I think 1 month, 3 months, 6 months will be the more used at first. And then over time, people will start to lock for longer.
That'll be interesting and fun to track. I'm looking forward to tracking that. I mean,
yeah.
I think the only project that does that is Hex, right? And that's like really
Hex, yeah.
They were a big inspiration. Hex was a big inspiration for this.
Okay.
One thing, if I can jump in quickly, is that so somebody actually raised this question yesterday. It was it's basically the same question you guys asked, the longevity of the protocol, and it made me think, well, the longevity will go as long as whitelist exists, right? Because the token, people don't have to participate in the time vault, and the time vault will exist along with these smart contracts, meaning the Omni token will have to exist, meaning whitelist will exist, right? Meaning protocols will continue existing. So as long as this all exists, that's however long the time vault can go for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that actually was one of the questions, and it was kind of wrapped around how else are you going to help protocols? So from what I understand, it's not just the whitelist, it's maybe helping them out with marketing and all sorts of stuff, helping them to get their name out, which, you know, it can be very expensive to get your name out. I mean, and when you're a new project. So can you guys give us a little more detail what else you're going to do for these protocols?
Yeah, to jump a little bit more in depth, right? So this article that summarizes their white paper for them. So let's say you're a brand new protocol, you approach us and you need help, right? Let's say you haven't even explored the option of growing organically yourself. This is where Cam and I would come in. We'd create an article on your white paper, summarize and highlight all the key points. You get your own page on our site, right? That's all the features that exist in your white paper. After that, you get a huge promotion from our team, but that co-aligns with your tiering. So I'll touch a little bit more about that. After that, you get priority AMAs with us, right? So you come on with our huge server with all the protocols that we've also partnered with. You can explain a little bit about who you are and your team and your protocol. Twitter posts, right? Reddit. And then lastly, it's the access to the content creator team, right? Like Enrique, you know, you were part of the content creator team before. So you would get access to you guys. And if you guys wanted to make videos on them, that would help an immense amount, right? Because we know the cost of starting a new protocol is quite high. Yeah. So they get 5. What's up?
I was going to say to mention the tier list, the security tier list, and which ones we're actually going to be pushing for. So
you go. Yeah,
okay. So we created a tier list of what we believe to be the hierarchy of how secure a project can be. And so, you know, we out of the 5 tiers, we're really going to only be pushing 4 and 5 because we believe, you know, if any project, because we believe in a free market. So any project can come list with us. That being said, if they don't have security measures in place like code, multi-sig, KYC, public docs, all that good stuff. If they don't have those done, then we aren't going to be pushing their project. We'll let them list, and that's it.
I like that. I like that a lot, guys, because I mean, I think a big core piece of what DeFi really is having something for everyone, right? Not having barriers all over the place. So the fact that you guys are getting rid of barriers, but still doing it in a way to where you can still see who has done more with security or with KYCs or whatever. I like that a lot. And I think as far as like moving forward, when things start to ramp up and we have another bull market, I think that will be really helpful having that tier list. So I think I like that a lot. And from the feedback I got from the viewers, that's very cool. So you guys, was that something that was kind of like new to you guys, or did you guys from the jump already know that you're going to do this through this tiered system?
The tier system is pretty new.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it existed because there was a talk about a long time where Joey said it, right? We wanted no barriers for everyone. But then it made us think on our site, Cam implemented this feature where where you can toggle for this audit multi-sig docs. People will do that regardless, right? Because it's what people actually already look for. And so for us to push these teams with high security measures, it helps DeFi, and then it encourages everyone who hasn't implemented these security measures to move up the tiers as well.
I like that. Very cool.
It was my idea.
Oh,
There you go. Well, there you go. It really was. It actually really was. He said it. I thought about it. We talked about it, and then I wrote about it. Literally, that is exactly.
I don't know if it was my idea. I was just
all right, guys, and you guys are going to be paired to BUSD, correct?
Yep.
That's
Okay.
right.
So, and I could be wrong, but remind me, you guys with High Point, you were paired to AVAX, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah.
which is one thing that I remember I did not like that, right? So I guess if we can kind of maybe segue into like lessons learned, right, from the previous project. Would you say that was probably like your biggest lesson learned?
Okay, Joey,
Yes.
you go crazy.
Yes. We paired to AVAX, and at the point of launch, I believe AVAX was like $80 US, something like that. And so when AVAX started dropping, it was not pleasant, to say the least. So we've decided to, we've learned, and we've decided to pair to a stable, because while yes, we're in a bear market, and most native coins of each chain will probably go back up in the next bull, we don't want to take the risk that we took before.
I think that's wise. I like that a lot.
And the other part is that BUSD is backed, right? It's backed by actual liquidity instead of some of these tokens are not backed at all, right?
Yeah, in this time and age, it's so important. You can't overlook that. So that's very good. So as we are talking about BUSD, and I wasn't sure about this either. Are the rewards from the time lock, are they going to be paid in BUSD, or are they going to be paid in Omni? Omni. Okay. And what is that going to look like? Is that something that happens daily, weekly? And when the time is up, like how does that work? Like, are they going to be able to check, okay, I locked in for a month. After 2 weeks, I'm at this amount, or they're not going to be able to see anything after a month? How's that going to work?
So they'll be able to see how much they've accumulated, but it all gets given to them at the end of the lock.
Right. But they can kind of track it,
Yeah.
Cool. That was another question. Very good. All right, guys, and then back to HP. So this is one of the questions Kevin's talking. So in regards to the 65,000 that was taken from the HP liquidity on June 30th, I had a lot of questions in regards to that. Where'd the money go? Why did you guys do this? I thought that the money was going to stay there forever. I didn't really know how to respond to that. Can you guys give a little bit of insight as to what that was all about?
Yeah, so rather than pocketing it, because it was supposed to unlock on Trader Joe in like, what is it, Joey, like a year or something like that?
3 years.
3 years. It's supposed to unlock regardless, and could have just pocketed it, put it in Sam's pocket, go to the Bahamas. But rather than doing that, so I think we pulled out 65K. 15 of it was straight allocated to marketing to pay for these AMAs, to pay for collaborations with protocols. 50K is still sitting. It's just sitting. We haven't used any of it. We haven't been paid from that pool at all.
We have not paid ourselves from that.
Yeah, I think Joey can screen share. It's still just sitting in a pool. One of the things that we do want to use with it is to continue marketing, right? Build in this bear market. To use that 50K, part of the portion is this Cam's idea is we want to do a launch promotion for protocols that launch with us. They would receive an amount of Omni, so a significant amount.
Okay, so and you said you haven't been paid, because that was another question, was how will your team get paid? We're kind of segueing into different questions that I definitely wanted to track, but so sorry to cut you off, but how does that piece work?
So the Omni token, there's different percentages that are taxed on the Omni token. Like, so it's a 10% tax, and that's broken out. 6% goes to the treasury, 6% goes to liquidity sustain, and 2% goes to liquidity sustain, and 2% goes to the burn. So that's the 10% tax, and will be paid out of the treasury once we build up enough money to be paid. Right? Nobody's been paid to date, and we're just doing this unpaid right now until hopefully this thing blows up.
Yeah, no, that's appreciated, guys, because I mean, especially with what's happened lately with a few of these projects, I'm starting to notice that it's not all the same for every single project. So just to name one, there is a project that I talked to earlier this week, and they haven't been paid at all since their pre-sale. Their launch was like 2 months ago, right? So as holders, as investors, or degens, whatever you want to call us, we appreciate that, right? We appreciate that a ton. And then there, and that's kind of like a sign of what good looks like. Bad looks like kind of like what we saw maybe with Titan, where they were, overpaying themselves so much that they were literally diluting their own project, right? So and we have to have these conversations. I know it's not the funnest thing to say this, but it's not fun to talk about, well, what happened about 65K? But we have to have these conversations so that there's trust, so that everyone understands what happened, and we can just keep moving things along. I feel like DeFi has evolved so much. Guys, I'm sure that the space right now is nothing like when you guys started out with HP. There was so much more liquidity back then. There were so many more market participants back then. Yeah. It's a very different space, and everybody's kind of gotten, well, not everyone, but most people have gotten smarter about what they invest, how they do it. So it's so important to have these conversations so that, trust can be built. Speaking of trust, you guys had a huge monster community with HP. Right. I really do give you guys a lot of kudos because of the fact that you had all these delays, and you kind of made those delays turn into a good thing. It gave you time to, increase your community, tighten the community. And that was a big part of the hype for High Point. So having said that, what does your community look like today? Did you have like a lot of those people come over to the Omniverse community? What do your numbers look like in Discord and so on?
You go first, Joey, and then I'll touch on that.
So because we've decided, we found this out recently, Kevin pointed this out. So we actually had decided to originally launch the Omni token with the 50,000 with 50,000 of the dollars we took out of the HP pool. We were going to launch Omni with that as the initial liquidity. But then we found that the community, there was no incentive to build community, because with the pre-sale, people invite, they talk in chat, the server, gets alive. So we recently switched back to the idea of a pre-sale, and we're doing the whitelisting process again. So right now, the community definitely isn't as big as we'd want it to be, but we are planning on changing that.
Okay. Do you think that some of that has to do with the fact that your protocol is kind of different and unique, and it's not just your typical rebase protocol? Because I kind of feel like I've noticed with Tune Forks, it's harder for them to grow because of the fact that a lot of people think, oh, this is a lot more complicated. Do you think that has more to do with it, or do you think it's something else?
I just think it hasn't been explained, right? Like we're a point in time where now, like, I'm glad the team and like we've decided to move towards the whitelist model, because the biggest incentive to whitelist, and I keep telling everyone, it's not the pre-sale, it's the fact that it gets people interested in your project because you bring users in, you bring real people in. And so along with our model, I don't think it's the most difficult. I think it's definitely new. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think people like new, and it's proven time over time. It's Olympus DAO, right? It's Tomb, and then it's Titano. So people, and Horde, right? And then what was the first big node one? Strong. So and all five are very different, and they all offer something new. So that's what I think. I think it just takes a long time for people to finally understand it. I think the marketing efforts that we're doing now is going to give it a big push, and I think the whitelist will give it an even bigger push. But in terms of people understanding it, I don't think it'll take a long time. I just think it'll take a long time for people to actually just read our white paper.
Yeah, it's not complicated. It's just new, right? The people have to take the time to get that understanding.
There's no demand for it. right?
Yeah.
We're creating it, and we're hoping to build this demand for
Well,
it.
they don't know they need it yet.
They don't
right?
know they need it.
We're like Apple. We're telling people what they need.
Yeah.
Well, so Kevin, you just said something that made me wonder. I mean, you talked about new market participants, but because of the mechanism that you built into your token, do you think it's possible that one could say that you don't need new market participants?
You don't really need it if they want to keep participating with these protocols. But the best part about the whitelist marketplace is that we are not prioritizing the push of Omni, because before, and we would literally know, right? A lot of protocols are Ponzi's. You need people to buy it so everyone's value goes up. And then once everyone's values goes up, it's a race who sells first.
Mm-hmm.
You can sell Omni all you want. A portion is being burnt, right? It doesn't really matter to us. The focus on us is to partner with these protocols, give them the support that they need, really bolster them up, help them with a successful launch. And that in turn will get more protocols coming in. Oh, okay, we want to help you. We want to help you. We want to help you. And all in the background, Omni is just getting burnt and burnt and burnt. We don't need big buys to come in. We don't need 25K buys, 50K buys, 10K buys. That's being burnt itself. It's doing it itself. So the focus is not on the token with the new market participants. The focus with the new market participants is for them to even just understand our protocol and connect us with other developer teams. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So as long as DeFi keeps growing, you guys should be okay, right? I mean,
it's literally right, because if you wanted to get rid of your 10,000 whitelists, you were supposed to get rid of them anyways. Now you're getting paid to do it. You're telling me that, like, if I wish Omniverse was around and we didn't, could you imagine if we were just a High Point team? We went up to the Omni team. We said, hey, can you guys help us? They pushed all the marketing for us. They paid us for whitelists we were already supposed to get rid of.
mm-hmm.
They helped us with KYC and audit. They gave us free marketing. They did AMAs for us. They did all this for us. And we're just sitting in the background while our protocol succeeds. I wish there was a team like this. I wish there was a white paper that existed, something like this. So the focus is not on the Omni token like in other protocols. It's the focus on collaborating and partnerships.
Yeah, that's interesting. Just kind of thinking out loud, I think your biggest threat might just be new protocols that kind of copycat your idea, right? And then they're going to be competing with you guys, right? I mean,
I want to touch on this really quickly. Okay. Sam and Joey say this all the time. The second we see a fork, we're popping champagne because we're like, we did it. We're being forked.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I don't think that's a threat.
Thing. It's the ultimate goal.
Because
imagine,
think about it this way. Let's say ABC Finance wants to launch and they list on Omni, and then like the 10 Omni forks that arise. It's better for the informational flow all around. And the way I see it is people will be taking our idea and building off of it. So it's like with the rebase and the Tomb protocols, Titano and Tomb will always be the biggest ones. And that's because they're the original. So they'll be the most known. Like, it's really, I don't think it's something to worry about too much.
Yeah. It's the ultimate form of flattery. I welcome it.
Yeah, ultimate form of marketing. Enrique, if I dressed up and I looked exactly like you, you'll be like, there you go, buddy. And it'll be like, Kevin, why do you want to be like me? You're so handsome. Why would I? You know what I mean? So the day we see an Omni fork, incredible, because it shows that we've done something. Yeah, we've literally pushed security the way we wanted. We've literally pushed partnerships and collaborations. We're pushing paying and helping new protocols succeed. Like, I think that's great.
It's definitely not something easy to fork as well. There's a few contracts, plus a lot of it is in the front end on the website. It's not as easy as a rebase token. You can just deploy it and it starts rebasing.
Yeah,
that's good to know. And because it's funny, because I was just having this conversation with a few of my viewers and friends that I have this like weekly DeFi recap every Sunday. And 3 weeks in a row now, some other DeFi YouTuber has basically forked my idea, and they have their own like weekly recap. And they're like, "Aren't you upset?" I'm like, "No, I don't care. Whatever." It's like, but like like Sam said, like invitation is the highest form of flattery, I guess.
That's it. Yeah.
So it's pretty funny. Pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I could really see. I mean, as far as what you guys said, I mean, I guess Access, you stated that you don't think that it's going to be a threat. If there's a bunch of other projects vying for these new whitelist spots, but if you guys are the OGs, then I think you should be fine. So that's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. So do you guys think that you have because I talk about this all the time on my channel. Like everyone's searching for the next Wonderland or the next Titano from the start, right? That's going to be the big winner that everybody wants to hit, that big one. We haven't seen it really since, I guess you can make an argument that some hit it with Safu, which is definitely one of the OGs. I would give them that kind of, label. But so everyone's looking for that kind of next new, cool, different thing.
We haven't launched yet.
So do you guys think that what you guys have created could be that? I mean, is this something that people should start getting really hyped about?
100%.
I think so. I'd like to think so.
Okay, that's the degen answer. But to be honest, like, and we say this not to be cocky, but like you said at the start, show us another protocol that's like this, right? Like, and even like touching back on like the 50K, you can ask us anything you want. You can ask us on the previous protocol we ran, because we know what we mess up on. We know what to fix and what we're doing better. Like,
that's right.
It just doesn't exist. And every single time we have a call, we're implementing new things to push it even better. And it's like the biggest flywheel, right? It doesn't exist yet, but everyone's focused on some type of growth, like some type of yield, right? With nodes, with rebase, with Tomb in some way. Ours is purely based on utility. And it's not like we're getting a bunch of tokens and we're dumping. All those tokens are being burned, It's not benefiting us at all. We didn't have to give free Omni tokens to protocols to list with us. We didn't have to. It was literally Cam's idea to be like, we should give them something. We're like, okay, screw it. Give them 25%. We're still burning 75%. It didn't matter to us.
Yeah.
So I do think that this is the next best thing. It may take a long time, but the model works. It's there. And like you said, the only competition we have is if somebody forks us. But Joey said it's really hard to fork this.
Yeah, I think people are going to keep a close eye on us, and once we're going to be launching, the token's going to be paired to BUSD, so we're going to be launching it at $1, right? I think once people start to see the token start to creep up, right, it's gonna be slow in the beginning, but once that token starts to creep up, people are going to say, oh, this Omni business, this is working, right? I should buy into this. Maybe at the very least hold some tokens, right?
Oh, I don't know. I think you're forgetting that there's so many degens in the space, especially in BSC. Come on, man. You guys
let's hope everybody apes in on whitelist, right?
I think you're gonna have a volatile, start. I really do. I'd be surprised if you guys didn't shoot up, and then there's gonna be some profit taking. But I mean, I just think that that's what we've seen with so many of these different tokens and projects. And you guys, I mean, people know who you guys are. I mean, you guys have a history. The DeFi space has come a long way, but you guys are part of that history. The buzz. I mean. Yeah. I think I can only think of maybe 2 other projects that had as much hype and buzz as you guys had. So I'm expecting you guys to see fireworks on launch day and for the days to come, and then I think over time stabilize. So what else, guys? What have we not covered that you want to make sure that the viewers heard about?
I want to touch on your last point. Even if it goes volatile, it can do whatever it wants. Anytime it's used, is being burned, right? And then the focus again is on the whitelist marketplace. People can buy a bunch of tokens that they want, and then they can choose to trade it for a protocol that they really like. So their protocols will bring in their own marketing, right? If it's imagine we found the next Titano and they listed with us and we pushed them hard, right? The next Olympus DAO, the next Tomb Finance, right? And that's the example that I really want to put out there, that we will be doing our best to push teams that are really focused on encouraging users to be safe, and they're putting out their own level of security, right? They've done their KYC, they've done their audit, they've done their multi-sig, they've done their public docs. So other than that, I can't think of anything else to say. Joey, Sam?
Well, sorry, Axis or Sam. To what you just said, is there a minimum? So for example, if they have 50 whitelist spots, do they have to give you guys 10% of them, 20% of them, no minimum?
No minimum, but if you think about it, imagine they give us all 1,000 and we sell out of all 1,000. They were supposed to get rid of those 1,000 anyways. We're paying them now to sell it for them. We're doing all their marketing for them. We're giving them money for it. I can't think of a reason why a protocol wouldn't want to give us more than enough. You know what I mean? If you give us only 5, that doesn't really benefit you. You give us all of it, we'll do everything we can to help you.
Yeah, it's a huge win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of a single reason why they wouldn't, other than just, they may have already had some things planned. They may have already decided we're going to give this, YouTube channel this many whitelist spots. We're going to give EAM crypto this many spots, whatever. All right, I had to throw my bad joke in there. All right. And sorry, I cut someone off. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say we, as a side note, we do have this other, I'll call it a product or an offering planned. It's called the escrow service, and just like the name suggests, it's a sale mitigation product where if you have a whitelist and you want to sell it to someone else, obviously in crypto, it's hard to trust people to drop money in your wallet and you're going to get what you're promised, right? Yeah. So we would be the middleman mitigating that transaction. So we would have, I don't think it's all sorted out just yet, but I think Kev, it's something we're going to be doing a chat log. I think it was, where we can see the transaction conversation between the two people. We'll be holding the Omni tokens for that transaction, and once both parties are happy with the transaction, we'll be releasing the Omni tokens to the seller or to the buyer.
Wow. Yeah. You're watching the chat. That's going to take time. That's going to be a little time.
It would only
still some details to sort out, but that's just a high level. But that's one of the offerings we've come up with that we do want to put into play.
Wow. Okay. Well, speaking of, how big is your team total?
Okay.
We just let a few people go.
Wait, you say total? What do you value as team?
Mods, everything.
I think we're about 15 right now, right?
15?
Yeah, we were well over 25 before.
Yeah, so we brought over a lot of the old staff team too. So we didn't actually onboard anyone new, right? Because the old staff team, they worked with us before. We're like, screw it, bring them over.
Yeah.
Wow.
But a lot of them are not with us right now. They're on hold or on hiatus, I'll call it, right? They may be called back if we get busier, of course, right? But,
Okay. And last question that I have, what day is the launch?
So because we're now having our own whitelist, I guess to be blunt, Cam's working on front end. We're always adding new things. We're deploying the smart contract and getting it audited. We can launch whenever we want, but we want a big enough community that understands our product. So there's no set date, but at minimum, launch will not be until August 15th. So at minimum.
Best case.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have time to ramp up still. I mean, you guys have a very busy schedule. You were with Raiders of DeFi. I think you're going to be with your bonks, Austin Clark, James Pelton. I can't even remember who else. So you guys are going to definitely make the rounds. So that's good. Definitely get the word out as much as possible. Anything else, guys?
Two main things. So in turn, so this doesn't really relate to the whitelist, but there is a bounty program going on where if any investor brings us whitelists, and these are bundles of more than 15, and you can prove that you've been given 15 whitelists from, let's say, EAM Finance, we will pay you $100 for it. We will literally pay you $100 for whitelists that you bring us, right? And then secondly, because of those whitelists that you bring us, we'll list it on our site. And
wait, sorry to cut you off, Kev. Are you gonna pay them in what? In Omni token and BUSD?
Yeah, because Omni tokens right now is all backed by $1 each. So 50,000 BUSD. 50,000 BUSD. So that's ideally we don't want to use the entire pool, but protocols can go and give it to investors. Investors can go out and grab it and bring it to us.
Yeah, and just at a high level, we want to use the Omni token wherever possible. So any transactions, any payments, anything going out or coming in, we ideally want to use Omni because that's the whole point of the project. Is the currency is to create a currency, right?
Yeah, and burn that 2%. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah, and then on the whitelist marketplace that they bring in, we burn all of it. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
minus the bonus. Yeah.
Well, I hate it when projects say we're deflationary, but you guys make a pretty good case. I can't argue with you guys.
Well, yeah, it's just like to argue deflation, and then to somehow mess up the supply. It doesn't really make sense. Versus us, we're never going to touch it. All these burns are built into the smart contract, and like people can always see whenever any of the Omni tokens that are pooled on the site, all of it will be burnt. Right? It's blockchain, like you said in the beginning. You can follow any transaction you want. You can follow all the burns if you want, and we've always been
We've
honest
always
about
been
it.
transparent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kev,
literally.
Kev posted like every single transaction. Joey posted every single transaction when we were
I
high
don't think
point.
anyone ever looked at them.
No, nobody
Yeah,
ever
yo,
looked at them.
what's up with that? I mean, okay, we audited our own team and all the transactions, literally, but
Yeah.
nobody bothered looking at them. We're like, isn't this what you guys wanted? And then in the end, people are like too lazy to look at it.
And it's
And
still,
then-
and we still get rug,
Yeah,
right?
no, and then I see something like Titan Finance, and I'm like, wait, you guys had to look for that? We just posted all of it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
unreal.
Apples to oranges at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, guys, this was a lot of fun. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions. I would hate for me to forget one for my viewers, but I think we're good. So there's nothing else. Thank you so much for coming on, and I really wish you guys the best of luck. Very cool project. I think you guys will do really well, and it's going to be a fun ride to see how you guys progress.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very
Having
much.
us too.
And we're happy to come back anytime.
Yeah.
All right, and guys, go check them out on their Discord. I'll have everything listed: Discord, their site, all the good stuff. Twitter. Follow them so that you can make sure that you find out about the first day of the launch, since it's still kind of a TBD kind of thing. All right, guys, take care. Thank you so much for watching.